What is up, guys? In today's video, we're going to be talking about the NuPhy Gem80. This is their 10 keyless premium keyboard that comes in, as you see it here, at $199, which I think is a pretty good deal. But if you just want the bare bones wired version of the keyboard, you can get it for $150. So adding the keycaps is an extra 15 bucks. And if you want to add the wireless capability, it's an extra 20 bucks. And if you want to add the switches, that NuPhy has 3 switch options from Gateron. These are the mint switches. These are the light linears, and they sound and feel absolutely fantastic in my opinion. They have a slightly heavier linear, and then they also have a tactile switch that comes with a double stage spring. The mint switches, raspberry, and lemon switches are the options from NuPhy and Gateron. And then they also have Cherry MX clear top reds if you want a more silent approach to your keyboard as well. Let's talk about the build quality real quick of this thing. So up top, you have a CNC aluminum top. Around back, you have a polycarbonate back, some nice feet as well that are rubberized, and then the angle of this keyboard is super comfortable as well. Now you have your USB-C port right here in the middle. You also have a quick switch to swap from Windows to Mac shortcuts, power switch to change it from either being completely off, having the wired mode, or wireless mode. In terms of the wireless mode, you have Bluetooth connectivity, and then you also have this 2.4 gigahertz dongle, which is now also, come on camera, focus, labeled, because I cannot find my other NuPhy dongle, so I'm glad that this one is labeled. It would be nice if they would label it like, you know, this is the NuPhy Gem80 and like label on the bottom somewhere. Like that would be kind of cool. That would definitely be taking the extra step for sure, but at least their dongle is labeled. I hate when companies don't label their dongles. Here's a quick sound test of this keyboard, and then we'll get into the specifics. This keyboard is $199 maxed out with the wireless mode, and then you also have the switches included for 15 bucks and the themed keycaps for 15 bucks as well. And then if you want the Cherry MX switches, that are the silent switches, that put you at $210. But I think for 200 bucks, you should be okay. Here are the available color options: the Cosmic Mocha, Mystic Indigo, Obsidian Black, Airy Lilac, and Inca Rose. I think they all look quite nice. Let's go down and show the quick comparison of the colors. They got this little animation plan, but all the layers and foam and isolation that they put into this board, they have honestly knocked it out of the park. Like that sound test, I think this keyboard sounds absolutely fantastic for the money and for the effort. I will say this is not a pre-built keyboard, so just keep that in mind. Like you do have to put the switches in and put the keycaps on, but what they're showing in this quick animation reel, basically that everything else is already done for you. All you have to do is pop in the switches and pop on the keycaps that you want. Ton of different mounting configurations that you can also try. I don't have 200 hours to like sit and mess with this keyboard, but I do have some of the other plate options, and then you can you know, mess around with how you want this thing to feel and sound. But those are probably going to be some pretty minute changes, and I'm glad that the gasket mount is like already done, and it is like fairly bouncy too. Here, let me put the camera here, but just so you guys can see how much flex is in this keyboard. It's probably a little hard to demonstrate, but it definitely does depress a decent amount. Like it's probably, I would say, like 2-3 millimeters, and you really only notice it when you're pressing hard. But naturally using it, you're not really gonna feel much bounce. Like it's a pretty rigid experience, but it's a nice thocky keyboard, and these keycaps are PBT as well, and they feel great. I definitely think it's worth it to pay the 15 bucks and get the theme keycaps. Their NSA profile, a little bit shorter than like an MSA, which is gonna be like middle of the road, contoured keycaps. And these, honestly, I'm glad that these are very low profile because they feel great, but they kind of almost give off the look of like an SA profile keycap, and then you turn it on its side and you're like, oh, these are like relatively flat. So it definitely gives you great comfort vibes because this does not have adjustable height, but the keyboard feels like it's already at the perfect height. And I think that part of that is due to the fact that the keycaps are not too tall. Outside of the FR4 that's pre-included is gonna be polycarbonate, which is gonna give you more of a crisper, poppy sound, but still be bit of a thocky sound at the same time. And then we also have Palm. Palm is going to give you that super extra crispy, loud popping noise. And it is going to be more noisy of an experience than I would say enjoyable. Like, palm plates are nice depending on how they're done. This one is definitely, I can tell, going to be a lot louder in terms of like its use. It's not going to be a soft palm that can kind of sound more neutral like FR4. And then we have the aluminum. This is going to be slightly more muted than the FR4. So if you want something that's going to be really quiet, then I would say either go with the aluminum or pick the Cherry MX Silence. Ugh, if you really want like a really silent keyboard and also without having to do much more work. In terms of the battery life, you'll probably have to charge it, I would say, like once a week to week and a half, using it on the 2.4 gigahertz mode. Bluetooth is going to last a really long time, especially if you don't have the lighting effects on and all that. I did use the lighting effects and I can get about a week pretty comfortably on it. 40-ish hours of gaming, if I even hit 40 hours. That's why I say between about a week to a week and a half to hit that 40-hour mark with the RGB on. I haven't tested it with the RGB off, but I would imagine that the battery will probably get even closer to that 70-hour mark that NuPhy has on their website with the RGB off and using that 2.4 gigahertz mode. And then here are the specs on the other switches that are available. Like I said like I said before, I have the Mint switches. I like them a lot. They do a very good job. They feel great, they sound great, and they're quite quick as well. Like, using these for gaming, absolutely no problem. If you like a little bit of a heavier switch, you can try the Raspberry switch. If you want a tactile switch, the Lemon switch looks like a fantastic option. And all of these switches are from Gateron. Again, the silent switches are gonna be from Cherry. And then basically NuPhy just has a ton of other accessories like desk mats and wrist rests and all that stuff. But realistically, even if you don't get anything, like if you don't have a desk mat already, but if you don't get anything and you just get the keyboard for 200 bucks, I think you are doing an absolutely fantastic job. That's a great choice. I don't have much bad to say about this thing. Like, it's pretty feature packed. The RGB lighting is good. The accent lighting that they have up here next to the escape key and over here by the gem logo, like, see how bright that is? Like, it's absolutely insane. I think it looks fantastic. This is another good one from NuPhy. They knocked it out of the park. Definitely consider this one. But thank you guys for watching. If you're looking for it, I'll have a link in the description for you guys to check it out. Oh, I stumbled there. Oh my god. I need some caffeine or something. It's kind of late. I'm gonna go to bed. I'll catch you guys in the next one.